Today, I'm not buying from Asus anymore after this response. Get the fastest gaming chip here. First look at AMD's monster APU and Ryzen 9000 gets benchmarked. Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. First up for today, Asus just responded to some pretty serious allegations regarding their RMA process, and let's just say it's terrible. At this point, I'm likely not buying Asus products anymore, which is sad because the rig I'm editing this on uses an Asus motherboard. Regardless, for those who haven't heard about this, a recent video from Gamers Nexus documented their RMA process for an ROG Ally. After it was sent in and Asus had the RMA, they sent Gamers Nexus an email claiming that the damage they had was due to user error, but they could fix the damaged screen for nearly $200. Here's the issue with that. The Ally was sent in because the left stick was messed up. It had nothing to do with the screen, so they completely ignored the reason it was sent in just to find an irrelevant issue to charge money for. And the reason I say it's irrelevant is because the screen wasn't even damaged. The issue they were referring to was a tiny dent on the top of the device, so tiny that they had to bring it to a microscope to see it. But it gets even worse, because in their email, Asus gave them a quick deadline to decide on purchasing the fix that wasn't needed, or they may return the device disassembled because of water damage. Where did the water damage claim come from? No one knows, but it's almost like they're threatening them to pay for the fix, or they may never see their precious device whole again, all while never discussing the broken stick. Ultimately, after going back and forth disputing the RMA, Asus finally agreed to repair the stick under RMA for free. But the whole time, Asus was giving them a ticking time clock for RMA rejection with the chance their device is returned disassembled. Another example comes from Tom's Hardware, where one person was offered to fix a scratched 4090 connector for more than the price of the GPU itself. And we're not talking a burnt connector or anything like that. Well, just recently, Asus responded to all of these issues, and it's absolute garbage. They call what essentially seems like extortion as, quote, gaps in our RMA and communication process, and they're sorry for any confusion and frustration. I'm sorry, Asus, but no one is confused. They then go on to claim that they'll no longer, quote, automatically offer repair quotations for cosmetic imperfections unless they affect the device's functionality or are specifically asked for by the customer. That one's nice, but what about making sure you mention the actual damage, or make sure you don't threaten people with a disassembled device? I mean, this is literally worded like it's our fault, like customers were just confused. No, we aren't. This is unacceptable, and to be honest, I'm getting sick of the constant legal speak. I get it, frivolous lawsuits are its own issue, but this is just getting annoying. At the end of the day, this response is just not good in my opinion, and this has really hurt Asus in my mind. Next up for today, I originally had a really quick story about how AMD's Ryzen 7 7800X3D is currently on sale for $349 on Amazon and Newegg with a $10 off coupon. But out of nowhere, while I was making this video, it looks like the CPU went on some huge sale down to just $278 on Amazon. I have no clue how long this is going to last, but this is over $150 below MSRP. Don't forget that the 7800X3D beats Intel's entire stack of 14th gen CPUs at gaming at a fraction of the price, and it still offers decent multi-threaded performance with its 8 cores and 16 threads, though obviously you'd be better off getting something else for more professional workloads. But it certainly is great for that as long as you primarily game. Either way, if you haven't picked one up yet, I'll have affiliate links down in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything more, and it helps the channel out. Next up, we get a first look of AMD's upcoming monster Strix Halo APU. Remember that this bad boy is set to come with up to 16 Zen 5 cores for the CPU and 40 CUs, or 2560 RDNA 3 plus cores for the integrated GPU. Basically, this monster is set to compete with mid to potentially even high-end desktop GPUs. And today, a known leaker who's discussed this APU in the past on X, named Everest, just shared a rendering of the upcoming beast. According to this, here is the massive GPU die, which comes with 20 workgroup processors or 40 CUs. Then over 40 TOPS of XDNA 2 AI performance, 32 megabytes of Infinity Cache, 256-bit LPDDR5X memory, and Zen 5 low-power cores on the GPU die, which is definitely an interesting claim. I'm not sure if that's for certain low-power scenarios, so it doesn't have to cross the Infinity Fabric or what. Finally are the two 8-core Zen 5 CPUs, making for a total of 16. All in all, this seriously looks like one impressive chip. And lastly for today, we're finally starting to get benchmarks for AMD's next-gen Ryzen 9000 Strix Point APUs. The new benchmark was found and shared by HXL on X, and it's of a Strix Point engineering sample. Specifically, it's a 12-core, 24-thread CPU with 4 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores, or 4 Zen 5 cores and 8 Zen 5C cores. Remember that unlike Intel, AMD's efficient cores also come with hyperthreading. Either way, when it comes to performance, the CPU got a score of 270.92. For comparison, that's right at the desktop Ryzen 7 7700X. Of course, you may notice that the 7700X is just an 8-core CPU, but don't forget that this Strix CPU only has 4 full Zen 5 cores. And while Zen 5C is better at more power-strained scenarios, it will definitely still have much lower clocks here. For example, on another CPU with Zen 4 and Zen 4C, the Ryzen 5 7545U gets up to just 3.5 GHz boost on the Zen 4C cores, while the regular Zen 4 cores get all the way up to 4.9 GHz, so a pretty massive difference. As another example to compare this to, it scores just over 20% faster than the 7940HS CPU, which once again has 8 full Zen 4 cores. Unfortunately, on this new benchmark, we don't know what the TDP of the CPU is, but even at 45 watts, this really isn't bad at all. Once again, because 8 of its 12 cores are Zen 5C cores, not to mention the fact that it's an engineering sample. Basically, AMD's next-gen Strix Point is shaping up to be a decent performance boost over last gen. So while that does it for today, have you had any terrible experiences with Asus's RMA? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.